Welcome to the We Are Wild channel. On behalf of the team, Jay Shuman, I got my partner.
I am Shaq.
Here with me, and today, before we get into the specifics of this video, before we get into this essential topic, my brother, physically and mentally, how you feeling?
Well, mentally, I'm good. Physically, I'm good. I'm overall blessed. I'm here.
I think we're on the same wavelength, man. Same thing here, man. Just physically feeling good. No pain in my body, no stiffness. Mentally, feel like I'm sharp where I need to be, man. So I appreciate that feedback. Our word of the day is going to be valor. Valor. A great courage in the face of danger, especially a battle. What we try to do in We Are Wild, we try to always interpret and bring in our word of the day and incorporate it with our overall topic. Our topic today is the scarcity of taking risks. And I believe we all can attribute the being there at some point of our lives, the scarcity of taking risks. Obviously, in career advancement, it might be in being a mother or father, a new beginning. And we're scared to take that leap of faith into becoming what we destined to be. So, my brother, I want to ask you this question, man, the scarcity of taking risks. How do you feel? What is the genesis of people, and what is the genesis of reason of people don't take risks?
FOMO. It's clearly FOMO. I mean, I think people are afraid to, most people are afraid to take risks. I think most people are afraid to take risks because of, as you mentioned with the word of the day, the danger, the harm, the loss, the failures, and the overall power of the FOMO, which is described as the fear of missing out.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about fear. I think it's the fear of missing out. A lot of people call it FOMO. I think people are afraid when you talk about taking risks. I think a lot of people struggle with that battle all the time in their everyday personal living. How so? Because you see people are afraid to lose their job. They're afraid to lose their home, their car, their business, because they are gravitating, they're holding on something called like bills or something like that. So and I'm not mad at them. I'm clearly not mad at them, but because personally, I used to be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be scared to take risks. I used to struggle with that, but it was all about the limited belief. And you know what a limited belief is?
Go ahead, educate me. I believe I know what it is, but educate me.
Well, when I struggled with that, I went to a library, and what helped me was I just looked up the word risk, and right up on the risk, there's this word called limited beliefs. And basically, limited belief is basically the state of mind that overall restricts or distract in you in some type of way towards success. So let me give you an example. So you start believing, well, but what if this happened? But if I do this, but what if that happens? Or maybe if I just do it a little bit, but what if that happened? And I think some examples of that are limited beliefs that dwells on people's mind all the time. It's a lot of, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I'm not tall enough. I'm not smart enough. This too hard. People will judge me. I'm not worth it. I'm out of shape. I'm too old. I'm too young. Right? I don't have enough time. Right? So they started coming up with all these limited beliefs, and they start coming up with all this scarcity within the mind. So that gives them, along with fear, that gives them the power of not taking risks. But what they have to do, they have to push the caution sign down and take the risk. Push the caution sign down and take the risk. A lot of times when we see caution, that means stop. That means danger. Don't go. But a lot of times you got to push it down. It's called sacrifice, right? Push it down and take a risk. That's just a few examples, and we can go on with that. But I think people need to eliminate some of these, limit beliefs that they have in their head, because it's nothing but a distraction.
Man, you bring up some great points with the limited belief and taking the caution and taking the risk. From my point of view, it's kind of similar, but also some extra things I want to kind of place to the viewers, man, I just feel like it's the fear of unknown. The fear of unknown, seeing what's on the other side of the coin. The fear of being made of a mockery. Because if I take that risk and I fall flat on my face, then everyone go laugh at me. I'm gonna be the joke of the town. Comfort and just it can be generationally. Sometimes the people we exposed to, and we might come from a family that just talk about career advancement. If they work in a 9 to 5 and your family, they work 9 to 5s, they're accustomed to a certain schedule, certain time, certain money, and you're just like the outcast. And you want to take that risk and becoming a better person, being an entrepreneur or whatever step or level you're going at. And sometimes generationally, people will, you don't need to do that. You need to just stay on this particular place, make this particular salary because it's safe. But sometimes we got to be able to take that risk to just, as you just said, like supersede the fear. Like, obviously, it's going to be discomfort. It's going to be a great amount of things that come with it, but you got to take the risk because you don't know what's on the other side of the coin. And it's crazy with me, and we gonna kind of go back to a couple of questions. But when I thought about like taking the risk, because I'm kind of in this process right now, it kind of really brought me back to my childhood, man. It brought me back to my childhood. We being transparent on this show. One thing about we value transparency. And I was scared of the dark. When I was younger. And in order for me to take a shower, I had to walk down a long hallway to get to a bathroom. And it was dark. But if I didn't take that risk and take that step to go down there, I would never accomplish or seen, okay, if I just take that step and go, maybe I'll learn something or extrapolate something from this. You know, it's a rap. It's something from one of my favorite rappers. He said in the song, he said, "Fear in the heart of me, I learned, just do it. You get courage from your fears whenever you go through it." So it's courage always in the fear. Sometimes we just got to take that risk. So my brother, I just want to kind of ask you also, man, just how you said like taking the caution in that limited belief thinking. How can we overcome that? How can we overcome that?
Well, first of all, I agree with what you said. I think the only thing that I kind of want to touch on is that you said about the fear. A lot of times it's the fear of the unknown. Like I said, I agree with what you're saying, but when you're considering limited beliefs and you're mentioning the unknown, I think a lot of times people do know. A lot of times people do know. Like you said, you was afraid to not be afraid of the dark, but you got through it because you pushed that caution sign and you turned on that light and you got familiar with it and you defeated that battle. Well, what people have to realize and what can help people is that they have to understand that whatever you do in life calls sacrifice and calls risk. And if you want to investing is risky. Having children is risky. Owning your own business is risky, right? Starting your own business is risky. Buying a new home is risky, right? In fact, since you bringing up a challenge that you deal with, let me just get a little deep and tell you what risk I had, what I was dealing with, what I find challenging. You know, I had a professor tell me one time. Shout out to Dr. Walker. You know, I know you appreciated Dr. Walker for letting me know this. She actually helped me to appreciate one time. I had a fear. You know, I used to have a problem with dressing up for presentations, for doing weekly presentation. I just started realizing, wait a minute, who cares what I got on? You know, why do I have to dress up to give a presentation to a class? Who cares what I got on? What I say out of my mouth don't have nothing to do with what I got on. And she said something. She said, "Shaq, you are subject to fail every time without the power of taking a risk." And that thing dawned on me, man. It dawned on me. I couldn't sleep at night. You know, while I was in college, I'm like, wait a minute. Why did this lady tell me that? But really, she actually helped me I went home and I said, you know what, I'm going to try. And I think a lot of times people don't know how to try. They don't have effort. They don't have a lot of capabilities that they can push themselves and motivate themselves. And when I did it, man, I got so much respect. When I dressed up, people started speaking to me that never spoke to me before, right? Matter of fact, people started holding the door for me just based off of what I was dressed and what I had on, because perception was everything. But if I never would have took that risk and she never would have pulled me to the side and told me that, hey, you're going to always fail if you don't take risks. So that actually helped me. And so what I had to realize is that I was playing the wrong game. We have to play the right game. The right game is taking a risk. You will never, and I'm just gonna tell people this. This is just me off of personal experience. You will never make progress or grow if you don't take risks. Right? It's okay to get started. Me and you, we own our own podcast, right? We have our own YouTube channel.
Speak
right?
about it.
A lot of people
that was a risk.
A lot of people maybe want to know, well, how do you guys started your own podcast? I may be wanting to try to start or be a future business owner. What did I do? Start from where you are. Take the risk. We did it, and if we can do it, you can do it. Now, here's the catch. Here's what people don't fail to realize. You can lose a whole lot of money, lose out on making a whole lot of money if you don't want to take risks. There are some of the risk takers are the money makers. I'm going to say that again. They may have bumped their head. They may have had a little bruises. They may have, bleed a little bit, sweat a little bit, cried a little bit. But the risk takers are the money makers. We've seen some of the greatest accomplishments and some of the greatest success stories. All got started from what? People who was willing to take risks. And that probably explains why 96% of the people in America don't take risks and why only the 4% does. That's probably why, right? Because there's a saying that says, he who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, he is nothing. I'm going to say that again. There's a saying that say, he who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing. Yes, he is nothing. Do we want to be viewed as that? Or do we want to be viewed as someone who say, you know what? I took the risk. I learned from it. I got back up. I defeated the challenge. Now I'm a business owner. Now we have our own podcast. And like I said, if you do it, I can do it. So that's some of the things that people missing out on and people don't understand. Taking risks requires action. It's not going to hurt. And it's super okay to be different. If you having somebody out there to tell you, oh man, I don't think you should do it, man. That's too much for you. No, go ahead and do it, because like I said, some of the greatest accomplishment, I'm talking about some of the successful people that I'm not even going to name out there in the world today been successful because they was willing to take risks. So that's pretty much to how I correlate and how I do the comparison in, the scarcity of breaking risk.
Man, I appreciate that. And you actually just catapulted me into what I was going to say. What I want the viewers to understand is, without risk, there's no innovation. Without risk, there's no innovation. If you look in America, someone had to take a risk. The light bulb, they had to take a risk. Everything in the world, you had to take a risk. Opening up a McDonald's, they had to take a risk. So I was doing some research last night, man, and I came across Blockbuster. You remember Blockbuster? Yeah. Back in like the early 2000s when we was growing up, getting a movie on Friday night, looking at it with the family. They was booming. Business was booming. Shout out Antonio Brown. However, the owner, if I butcher his name, please forgive me, John Antico, he could have purchased Netflix for $50 million. But he was gun-ho on DVDs and he didn't see the vision. He was just gun-ho on DVDs. And he could have bought Netflix for $50 million. And it was so bad because I believe Netflix CEO said when they met with the Blockbuster owner, he kind of laughed in their face. Laughed in their face because he didn't see the vision of streaming coming. However, if you look at it now, 2022, I researched Netflix revenue is what, $25 billion. $25 billion. And if you look at Blockbuster, they went bankrupt in 2013. They out of business. So he had to take that risk when Netflix, they owner, he got declined. He had to take the risk to understand that maybe I can do this on my own. Maybe I can start this business on my own. I don't need the help of a man, and I don't need the help of a man to catapult my business to where I want it to be. He had to take that risk. And as you said, man, it comes with discomfort. It comes with great pain. But on the other side, you appreciate it more. Me and you, we work out a lot. We work out a lot. And you understand my strengths and my weaknesses. You know, we can get in there and push some iron, but I know one of my weaknesses is getting on that treadmill. Getting on the treadmill. 10, 15 minutes, you might be good. 20 minutes might be good, but when 30 minutes come, and your joints start hurting, your legs get tired, that's the discomfort. But on the other side, you gaining that muscle, you gaining that endurance to continue to help you progress in your health, in your health wise, man. And it's just, you gotta take that risk. Even if we look at on our jobs, our job policy, don't take your phone out. Don't take your phone out, right? But if you look at it, we take our phone out, that's a risk. So we have it in us, we have to extrapolate and take it out of us and just take a chance. As you say, just take action. As we created this platform, as we created this podcast, this channel, man, there was a risk involved. And we're going to talk about that probably a couple of weeks down the line about the bumps and the bruises we had to go through. But, yo, we here now. We here. So it's just talking to the people, talking to our viewers, man, just take the risk. Take the risk. It's a lot of up and downward flows. It's some headaches that's going to come involved, but it only makes you and prepare you to be a better person. It only makes you become a better person. So my brother, man, you have anything else you want to share with us, man, before we come to an end?
Good word of the day. I think that's what the people need to hear. But I want to close by asking you a question. What is, we talk about this and you just hit some good points. I hit some good points. What is one of the biggest risks you ever had to take, looking back at your life, that you can share to the audience that you overcame, right? I know you talked about, being in the dark, you was afraid of the dark, whatever like that. And I mentioned about it. But what is one of the biggest risks you ever took?
One of the biggest risks I ever took. You know me, I'm going to be transparent. The biggest risk I ever took, it's going to sound generic, but just being confident. Confident in my capabilities, man. I can say so many other things, but it all boils down back to confidence, man. It boils back down to confidence. Confidence of what I'm prepared to say. Confidence in what I have on. Not comparing myself to no one. Not trying to emulate or imitate someone. Being confident in myself. That was the greatest risk, man, because we talked about this one time before, man. You go through a phase and you're trying to find yourself. You're trying to find yourself. And you might look at your life, man, my life ain't like that, but you got to be confident in who you are. So I believe that's just taking the risk because if you look at it, it transforms and it translates to everything we do in life. You can't do anything in this life if you ain't confident with yourself. We can't get on this channel and create content if we're not confident in what our belief system is and what we believe and what we're going to say. So it's confident. It all boils down back to confidence. Confidence is the key. So that's a big hurdle I had to overcome, was just being confident. My brother, I want to kind of go back to you when you said, you asked me that question. It's a great question that you brought up. What is the biggest hurdle that you had to overcome to take a risk to develop and become the person that you are?
Well, for me, go back down to FOMO, as I mentioned earlier. The fear of missing out. Again, the fear of missing out. Me just knowing and utilizing that acronym helped me to accomplish any risk that I want to take. But I want to read this quote, and I think this quote gonna wrap it up and says it all. It's a quote and it's an underlined statement. The biggest risk a person can take. Do you know what that is?
What, betting on himself?
The biggest risk a person can take is not taking a risk at all. So whatever challenge you're going through, you have fear, you see danger, you see a loss of failure, just try it out. Get started. And that's the power of the scarcity of risk. Risk takers are the money makers. Risk takers are the money makers. So get on the team of taking risks. And if you take a risk, you can feed your family. But if you're afraid to take a risk, your family ain't gonna eat.
And that's a great, powerful quote. One quote I have as well is by Bishop T.D. Jakes. He said, "Destiny is not for comfort seekers. Destiny is for the daring and determined who are willing to endure some discomfort, delay gratification, and go where destiny leads you." So we know that discomfort is gonna come, delay gratification is gonna come. But you gotta be daring and determined. And even if we look at a GPS system in our car, and it might tell us to drive for 2 miles, but we have to drive the 2 miles before we see what the next step and what's the next turn. So as my brother illustrated, and I'm gonna say as well, just take the step. Drive the mile. Take the mile, because the next turn might be where your destiny may be. So hopefully this resonated with our viewers, man. We love y'all. We are our family. Make sure you please like, comment, subscribe, and share with a family and friends. We are why, because we are why not.
I am Shaq. We are why, because we are why not.